Hey everyone! Have you ever just stared at a trading chart and it feels like you're completely lost in all the noise? Well, if that sounds familiar, you're in the right place. Today, we are going to break down a very specific, high-probability setup that's designed to find these little pockets of clarity in all that market chaos. So here's our game plan. First, we'll talk about that search for certainty that, let's be honest, every trader goes through. Then we'll get right into it and define what a power position even is. After that, we'll dissect it piece by piece and then see a perfect example of one in action. And, just as important, we'll learn how to spot the fakes, the ones that look good but are really just traps. We'll wrap things up by looking at where a trader's real power comes from.
All right, let's kick things off with a feeling every single trader knows, probably a little too well.
Yeah, that feeling. You're staring at the screen, lights are flashing, prices are jumping all over the place, and you're just thinking, where is the real opportunity here? It's so easy to get lost. But see, the goal isn't to trade all day long, it's to trade decisively when the time is right. So, how do we find that time?
Well, one really interesting answer comes from a trader named Ali Payne. He developed a strategy specifically to cut through all of that noise. He calls it the power position, and it's a repeatable way to find those rare moments when the odds in the market really do stack up in your favor.
So what is it, really? Well, a power position isn't some gut feeling or a lucky guess. No way. It is a specific, observable moment where a bunch of market signals all line up and basically shout, hey, pay attention. It's all about finding clear, predictable structure in what otherwise looks like a totally chaotic market.
And this quote right here, this gets to the absolute heart of the strategy. The foundation is all about stability. When you see a flat 200-period simple moving average, it's telling you the market is balanced. It's consolidating. Neither the buyers nor the sellers are in charge. And that creates this incredibly powerful, neutral launchpad, like a stable floor or ceiling where explosive moves can kick off from.
Okay, so if that's the stable foundation, how do we build on it? Well, the power position has 4 key ingredients. I want you to think of it like a recipe for a really solid, high-probability trade. All right, let's walk through this recipe together. Step 1, we've got our foundation, that stable, flat 200 SMA we just talked about. Step 2 gives us the context. We want to see the price hanging out near the previous day's close. That's a huge psychological level for the whole market. Step 3 is all about the path. You need a clear runway with nothing to the left. What that means is no recent choppy prices that could act as resistance and just stop a move in its tracks. And finally, you need the trigger, a really decisive entry signal, something like an elephant bar. That's a giant candle that shows big institutions are jumping in with conviction. That's what really ignites the whole move.
Now, theory is one thing, but seeing this play out for real, that's everything. So let's look at a textbook example of this setup.
We're going to look at a trade example from the source material in the stock Merck. This trade was so clean, so perfect, it actually got nicknamed the go-to-the-beach trade. You know why? Because once you're done, your work for the day is over. Seriously.
And this trade, it just checks all the boxes from our recipe. The setup of something called a Fab 4 buy signal. That's Payne's term for a powerful lineup of moving averages. The condition was met, totally clear runway, nothing to the left. The confirmation was a tail bar, a specific candle that shows buyers aggressively stepped in and took control. You put all that together, and what was the result? A clean, powerful upward move, just textbook execution.
I mean, this quote just says it all, doesn't it? The kind of confidence that comes from identifying, patiently waiting for, and then perfectly executing a true power position. It's huge. It's not about grinding out dozens of little trades. It's about capitalizing on 1 or 2 moments of pure clarity.
Okay, but just as important as knowing what a great setup looks like is knowing what to avoid. Let's contrast that perfect trade with its very dangerous opposite.
And that opposite is what Ali Payne calls a feelings trade. This is what happens when you're not trading a setup. You're trading boredom or fear, or you just have this itch to make something happen. It is the absolute enemy of disciplined trading.
And listen to this, Payne is actually critiquing one of his own losing trades here, and that kind of self-awareness is so critical. He recognized that the trade wasn't based on his strict rules for a power position, it was based on emotion. And we all know where that usually leads.
This slide just lays it all out, side by side, and the difference is, wow. It's stark. On the left, you've got the power position trader operating with patience, just calmly waiting. But on the right, the feelings trader is acting out of impatience, just trying to force something. One is based on the clarity of rules you've already defined, the other is driven by fear. Fear of missing out,
fear of being wrong. It is the difference between disciplined execution and just emotionally watching your P&L go up and down. And believe me, that difference is everything.
So all of this brings us to what I think is the most important takeaway from this entire explainer. Where does a trader's real edge, their true power, actually come from?
Here it is. The power position isn't just about a setup on a chart. It's about the patient, disciplined position you take as a trader. The real power isn't in clicking the buy or sell button. It's in all the moments you don't click it, when you're just waiting patiently for that A-plus setup to finally show up.
And this quote just nails it, doesn't it? Success in trading isn't about being busy all the time. It's about disciplined inaction, followed by decisive action when and only when the right moment finally arrives.
And that leaves us with one final question, something for you to think about. When you look at your own trading, which side of that line do you fall on? Because the path to finding clarity really begins with answering that question honestly. Thanks for tuning in.